pastors from all over the country here showing support for local pastors in their fight, which they say is an attack on their First Amendment rights.
This is an opportunity for Christians across America to declare we intend to stand for Jesus Christ and to defend religious freedom here in America.
Fundamentally, this began last spring when Annise Parker, the mayor of Houston, proposed what they were calling at that point an equal rights ordinance.
But a big portion of it was the transgender or gender identity portion. Men could go into women's restrooms and women could go into men's restrooms based on how they felt about themselves.
The imagery that I have in my mind is a grown man going into the restroom and a 6-year-old girl standing on side of her using the restroom.
The controversial Equal Rights Ordinance would call for tough sanctions for businesses with a fine of up to $5,000 if owners or employees discriminate based on sexual orientation.
It affords new legal rights for some, and it does so at the expense of religious liberties of others.
It's a threat to public safety. It is an infraction on religious liberty.
We rallied and mobilized pastors of every race and ethnicity and corner of the city.
It literally motivated and united all of us together.
When we stand together, it's much stronger than we by ourselves.
More than 200 people got up in front of City Council today and emotionally expressed their views both for and against the ordinance, which ultimately passed.
Opponents of the ordinance now have 30 days to collect the more than 17,000 petition signatures needed to appeal the decision.
We got the minimum number of signatures required and we submitted it to the City of Houston, and the mayor would not validate it.
A petition to repeal the Houston Equal Rights Ordinance was ruled invalid Monday by Houston City Attorney David Feldman.
The city of Houston has issued subpoenas demanding that a group of pastors turn over their sermons as part of a battle to enforce an equal rights ordinance in the city.
This is about political intimidation. That's what is so chilling about this. This is unprecedented, and we've been hearing from pastors across the nation.
I stand here today that I may speak, preach, and teach on the issues that the Bible speaks about, and be not afraid to be subpoenaed. Let the people vote.
After a great deal of soul-searching, I came to the conclusion that I would direct the city attorney to withdraw the subpoenas.
You know, if this starts in Houston, it could spread to other places.
Members of the Business Coalition are supporting legislation that would guarantee equal rights in the workplace for lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people.
Students as young as kindergartners will be able to choose whether they would like to use the boys' or girls' restrooms.
And this law would make it illegal for that private Christian business owner or that private Christian school from living out their values.
That's what this is about, is making sure that as an individual, when you enter the marketplace, you don't have to leave your religious freedom behind.
No matter what part of the country, there is nobody off the table right now that is not being assaulted by this agenda. And we have to come together. You have to organize at the local level, take your city seriously, and God has put you there for a reason. Step up.
I want to tell every pastor, for a time such as this, they must speak out. They must rise up and they must stand strong.
If you have an issue in your city, in your state, stand up. Keep your people to stand. Make your voice heard. And whenever the time comes that you feel threatened, I say to every pastor, stand your ground.
And if this happens in other places, everybody, Spanish, African American, every nationality has to be together in unity.
The stakes couldn't even be higher than they are. We find ourselves on the side of persecution. If it can happen here, it can happen anywhere. It's time to put it to an end.
If every pastor in this country would stand up, and then every Christian in this country would stand up, things would change very quickly.
The Houston Five, the pastors in Texas that stood up against the mayor, I believe is a turning point for the church in America. They rallied the members of their congregations and members of the community, and they have stood up against this city council and against this mayor. And since then, literally dozens of cities across the nation have followed their example and have stood up for religious freedom, the freedom to believe and live one's life according to those beliefs. So I'm encouraged by what I see happening in Houston, Texas, and as a result in cities across America.